Namaste, yogis. Welcome to another practice with Yoga with Sue here in beautiful Sedona. I anticipate this practice to be between 35 and 45 minutes. So just a reminder, if you're new to yoga, take any of the modifications that are offered until you build the strength and the flexibility to come in to more advanced postures. So be kind to your body, always listen. If anything doesn't feel right, please don't do it. Take as many breaks as you need, and you may want to just watch the video first all the way through and then join in the practice. We're going to begin with some yogic breathing. If you're new to breathing, it's very helpful to place one hand on your belly and one on your heart area. Just allows you to feel the inflation and where the breath goes in your body. So just begin by closing your eyes, taking some natural breaths in and out. And as much as you can, try not to manipulate the breath initially, just feel where it goes. Our breath changes on a daily basis depending upon what's going on emotionally, physically. So just get a sense of where your breath is at, and from there you can begin to change it. So on your next exhale, release out all the air. A little gentle squeeze of those lower abdominals in and up to press out all the air. And then as you relax the belly, take the breath in slow and gradually, filling up the belly, the ribs, and finally the very top of the lungs. Pause to control the exhalation and let it go from the top, from the middle, and finally from the bottom. Again, that gentle squeeze, lift of your pelvic floor, squeeze it all out, release the belly. Take it in, belly, ribs, very top of the lungs. Pause and let it go. I'm going to come out of the breathing. I'd like you to continue breathing, and just note that if for some reason this order of the breath doesn't work for you, and you find that your chest is filling up first, please feel free to reverse that order, breathing in from the top to the middle and then to the bottom, and reversing that order on your exhalation, belly, ribs, top of lungs. The third option I will give you for this breathing, if neither one of those work, is to practice just taking in little puffs of air. So again, hand on belly, hand on heart. Just take in a short sniff through the nose, fill up your belly. Another sniff, fill up the ribs. And lastly, another little sniff to fill up the top of the lungs. Pause, and then just gently let the air go. One of those three methods should work for you. Continue to breathe, preferably keeping your eyes closed. It's called pratyahara, taking away your senses so that your awareness, your ability to sense your inner body is heightened by the removal of senses. Take in 3 more full rounds of breath. When you reach the bottom of your third exhale, press out all the air. Release the belly constraints. Let the breath come back to normal, and stay with your eyes closed just for a couple of natural breaths. This is really great just to notice any changes, sensations in your body as a result of that deep yogic breathing. And remember, you can always do more or less, whatever your body requires. Stop anytime it's uncomfortable. Eventually you'll be able to get the 3-part breath to just meld one into the other, and allow yourself to just feel that gentle wave up the body, through the body, and down. When you're ready to inhale, keeping your eyes focused down toward the ground, just flutter them open with a soft gaze. And we'll just come into some movement with our breath. In yoga, and particularly vinyasa yoga, we always move according to our breath being our guide. So just getting a sense of what that's like. Remove your fingers or hands so that fingers tap the ground or the mat. When you're ready to inhale, start to float those arms, palms up as you reach for the sky. Really reach through the fingers down through your sit bones, and on the exhale, float the arms back down to the ground. With your breath, 3 more times. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower. If you want to add on the head or neck as you inhale, follow the gaze to your fingers, to your thumbs. Maybe bring your palms together. On the exhale, float the arms down. Keeping a long neck, just drop your chin towards your chest. Last breath in. And last breath out. This time as you inhale, extend the arms out and up. On the exhale, release your right hand to your right hip and reach up and over with your left fingers. So we're seeking to keep our left sit bone connected to the earth, opening up our left side body, extending out through those fingertips, and remaining soft through the shoulders toward the ears. So watch that you're not jamming your right shoulder into the ear, rather releasing it and just feeling a nice stretch out of the waist. Take one more breath on your exhale. See if you can find a little more space. The inhale is your reach up through the left fingertips as right meets left. And then exhale, left hand down, extend the right arm up and over. Again, softening through the neck. You can always take your gaze any direction that feels good to you. It may be down at your left hand, straight ahead, or up underneath your right arm. Right sit bones connected, right fingertips reaching. Your next exhale, maybe find a little more space to deepen the bend. And then use that inhale, reach up through the right fingertips as left meets right. And exhale, release the hands down by your side. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. This time as you exhale, pointing the palms forward, hinge from the hip area. Release the hands down in front, and as you do so, make sure your sit bones are still connected. And begin to walk the hands out, starting to feel some, again, stretch out from the waist, maybe into your hips, and then float your head between the shoulders. And from here with your hands planted, maybe lifting through one armpit and the other, just generating a little more opening through the side body. Come back through center, take a nice deep inhale. And with your exhalation, walk both hands over to the right, keeping your hands shoulder distance apart, and really plant down through the left palm. And as you do so, you're going to feel more through that left side body. Keep the breath flowing, full inhales and exhales. When you're ready to exhale, take those hands, walk them now all the way over to the left. Planting down through your right palm, down through your right sit bone, feeling a nice stretch through that right side body. Slow, gradual breaths. On your next exhale, walk your hands back through center, drawing your chin down towards your chest. Walk the hands back as you inhale, restack, nice tall spine. And then coming into a seated staff position, extend your legs straight out, finding your sit bones, moving flesh away if you need to, flexing the ankles so that the toes point straight up, heels out, activating the legs here. So you may find that as you start to straighten the legs, you may round through the back. If that's the case, bring your hands up underneath the legs, bend the knees more so that you find a nice tall spine, a straight line from the base of your skull through your tailbone. And then pressing out through the heels, find your edge. The edge is always where you find sensation, but you don't experience pain. From here, place your hands down by your hips and just breathe, opening up your heart area. Fill the lungs. Keep those legs active, toes drawn back towards you. And then with your next inhale, extend the arms out and up, palms face forward. Really reach through the fingertips. As you exhale, fold from the hips. And when you can no longer go down with a flat back, just release your hands somewhere. So it's not about finding your toes. You know where your toes are. It's more of a matter of staying long through the back, just feeling a nice extension through the whole backside body without anything pulling. So if your legs are going straight and you feel a pull so that your back is rounding, again, bend the knees. Think of more hinging from the hip. So we're trying to make a connection more of the belly to the thighs. And then the neck stays long. Full breaths in and out. Remembering this is early in the practice, so we haven't really stretched these legs yet, so be very kind to yourself. On your next inhale, again, you can drop the chin toward the chest. Think of restacking all the way up through the crown of the head. And then coming over onto one hip, let's swing those legs around, come in tabletop position. Go ahead and stretch those legs out if you need to. And then concentrating on our foundation now being our hands. Anything that's connected to the earth, we really want to feel stable and secure. And really place some concentration there. So our hands are our foundation as well as our knees. But with our hands, we can spread our fingers wide and point our middle fingers toward the top of the mat, being mindful that we want the wrist creases to point forward. So for most people, if your middle finger is pointing forward, your wrist creases are forward. Other people, we need to turn our hands out just slightly to get that parallel alignment. And then take a look down. Where are your elbow creases? So your elbow creases are where your elbow bends. Kind of prefer to have those elbow creases pointing forward so that when you bend the elbows, you could draw the shoulders on the back to lift the heart when you come into your cow. So here, take an inhale, allow your belly to drop, your chest to widen, the gaze and the tailbone lift. And then on the exhale, drop the head, press the earth away as you round into that mad cat. Inhale, open the chest, lift the heart, lift the head and the tailbone. Press the earth away as you exhale. Move with your own breath 2 more times. If at any point during this practice your breath does not match my instruction, please ignore my breathing sequence and follow your own breath. Next inhale, come to a flat neutral spine. I just want to wake up our core and our back body just a little bit here. So in your neutral spine, just practice drawing your lower belly in and up, drawing up your pelvic floor. Start to engage your core here a little bit. Find some stability. And then from here, it's usually going to be helpful, since your knees were situated under your hip during tabletop, maybe walk those knees just slightly closer together. So with an inhale, draw that right knee in and then extend it straight out from the hip. So you don't want that leg any higher than hip height. Spiral your inner thighs toward one another. So your right inner thighs reaching towards the ceiling, toes pointing down, heel pointing up. This may be your edge today. If you can, you might want to extend your left arm straight out. And as you do so, be mindful that you're not reaching your hand away and you're reaching forward. Keep your shoulder on your back. So draw the shoulder down, and as if you're just reaching out to shake someone's hand. This is your extension, arm and leg. As you inhale, exhale, round it out, knee toward nose, or elbow toward knee. Now, if you're not using the arm, it would be knee to nose. Move with your breath. The exhale is your rounding out. The inhale is your reach out. Think of that extension, active leg. Reach through the crown of your head. Last one. Next time you come to an inhale, maybe a little bit of a lift, and exhale, release down. From here, go ahead and move your body any way need to release tension. Lots of options. You can do some hip circles, as I'm doing here. If you do those, go in both directions. You may simply want to wag the tail of the dog by taking the hip side to side and looking towards your hip. You may just want to recline into child's pose, maybe stretch out that low back and release your wrists. So many people new to yoga find a lot of stress in the wrists initially. So I recommend making fists and then circling the wrists, or taking a squeeze just below the elbow. Squeeze with the opposite hand, and as you squeeze, draw down till you get all the way to the wrist so you can start decompressing your wrists. When you're ready, return to your tabletop. Again, taking your focus to your hands, the wrist creases, the elbow creases, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And again, just for stability, walk those knees a little closer together. Inhale as you draw that left knee in and extend it straight out from your hip. So here, just spiral that pinky toe down. It's very common as you extend a leg is to lift the hip or come up higher than hip height. If you spiral that pinky toe down and really press your inner thighs toward each other, that'll typically level off. Staying here and doing a nose to knee on the exhale, or adding on that right arm. Again, don't give the shoulder away. This is your inhale, exhale, round it out. Two more with your breath. Next time you inhale, extend, maybe a little bit of a lift, and then release back to your table. Once again, allow yourself to do whatever you need to do to release that tension you just created. And then a refresher for those not familiar with child's pose, big toes touch here. Knees taken wide, or you can keep them together. Sit your hips as close to your heels as you can. And then from there, you can go no further. First, melt your belly, your heart, and finally your forehead. Now, if your forehead doesn't comfortably meet the mat, it's totally acceptable to rest on a block. Maybe stack your fist as I'm doing here, or stack your hands. You can place those fists side by side or one on top of the other, depending on what kind of height you need. Important thing here is release any tension in your shoulders. Make sure your elbows are going wide, so you have a lot of space. You don't have that tension in your upper back. If this is comfortable, this is the resting pose you're invited to go to anytime you need to. Just rest. Catch your breath. From here, we're going to extend those arms out on an inhale. And really plant the hands. Begin to lift the arms, so we're kind of igniting a little energy into our body. Next inhale. Draw your belly in towards your spine. Round through your low back, your mid back, your upper back. Find your way to your tabletop. Walk your knees beneath your hips. Curl your toes under. Start to drift the hips back toward the heel. Drop your head. And then lift the hips, finding a down dog. Here, what we want to find is lengthen the spine. We want to feel those sit bones lifting the sky, but drawing that lower belly in and up, so we provide a little stability back away into a nice arch. But rather, find that length in your spine. Keep as much bend in the knees as you need to. It may be a lot at first. Just practice pressing your chest away from your hands, keeping your head relaxed here. And then you can start to slowly straighten the legs to whatever level you need to. You may want to wave the spine out a couple of times just to find a little movement and wave, so that you make sure that you found all the length you can. And then walk your dog out. So pressing one heel down as you lift the opposite heel up. And then adding on the neck if that feels good. So as your left knee bends, look underneath your right armpit and vice versa. Just a little rotation back and forth, just bringing movement in, making sure the head's relaxed and loose. And then let's come back to center and stillness. With an inhale, lift up to the bottom of your feet. On the exhale, press your chest back closer towards your feet. Gently lower your heels. Beautiful. Next inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees, make a walk to the top of your mat. So as much bend as you need in your knees to arrive into a forward fold. So the hinge is happening at your hips. And if you don't know how to hinge at the hip, sometimes it's really helpful to put your hands right underneath those hip bones. And you want to see if you can bend from there and actually bring those bones and squish your fingers between those hip bones, pelvic bones, and your thigh bones. You'll know you're bending rather than rounding. If you round, those bones don't come together. So think of lengthening, hinge from the hip, and then release the head, the arms. Shake your head, yes. Shake it, no. Coming into ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows, and allow the elbows or the arms to frame the face, so bring your biceps by the ear. You can stay here and simply let gravity do its job, or you can take a soft sway side to side. So rotating the torso around the legs. Another option is to pick up that outside elbow from you to bring in more sensation in the side body. All the while, breathing in and breathing out. Come back to center and stillness. On the exhale, release the arms. Inhale, and I'm going to recommend on an exhale, rolling up, picking up your belly first, round lower back, mid back, upper back, crown of the head extends. Once you arrive, find the top of your mat. Coming into our mountain pose, Tadasana, which is one of the foundational standing postures in yoga. So take awareness to what's connected again to the earth. Your foundation is now your feet. So we want to place our feet so that they're directly underneath your hip bones. We'll do this from a side view. So we want to make sure, gauge your hip bones, look down to your feet. That's one option. If you have been practicing for a while and you prefer toes touch, heels slightly separated, that's fine too. A little more challenging for balance. But in both situations, the outside edges of your feet are parallel to the edges of your mat. Once you find that plant of space in your feet, go ahead and gently pick up your toes. So you begin to activate the arches, and you'll find the outside of the mound of the big toe, outside the little toe, center of your heel. Spread your toes and then gently release them down. From there, we're going to activate the legs. So I want you to imagine you're squeezing a block between your thighs. You're going to feel them lift up, and the energy is going to move around towards your sit bones. You'll feel the quadriceps, the thigh muscles engage. From there, you can start to draw in that lower belly in and up, so the plane of your pelvis is nice and flat. So you're not dropping back or lifting it up. It's rather very long. Think about sending your tailbone toward the ground. So elongating through the tailbone, and then send the arms down by your side. And last set is to set those shoulders on your back. Once you've centered the ears over the shoulder, gently lift up on the shoulder and turn the whole arm open, so palms face forward. What this does is allow for a little closeness of the shoulders on the back that allows your collarbone, your chest, everything to open. Very open feeling here, and always encourage a few breaths with your eyes closed. Once again, just bringing that awareness in. This is creating perfect alignment from your ears to your shoulders to your hips to your knees, and your knees to your ankles. The more you practice this posture, the more you become aware of where your body is in space and when you're out of posture. Like maybe you're driving and you're rounding and you're feeling like, oh wait, I need to draw this up. I need to roll my shoulder heads back. So just a great place to practice that muscle memory. When you're ready to inhale, you can go ahead and open the eyes if you choose. Float the arms out and up. And for this purpose, I'm going to turn sideways again. On the exhale, bring your palms together. Float through heart center. Find that forward fold. Inhale. Find a flat back. So really extend out through the crown of your head and your tailbone. Hold for a breath or two. So here we don't want to feel any catching or gripping of our bottom. So the sit bones lift and are allowed to spread. And if you want to create more space in your sacrum, simply energetically press your heels away from each other, your toes toward each other without physically moving them, just energetically moving them. And you'll feel everything open up in your low back. Very helpful if you have low back pain. Take another breath here. On your exhale, rebend the knees, release the head, neck, shoulders, forward fold. Take an inhale on your exhale, roll it up. Inhale, extend the arms out and up. Gaze up, palms together, exhale to heart. That was a half sun salutation. So let's go through that again. And we'll add on. Rolling the shoulders back, inhale, arms float out and up. Maybe the gaze comes up as you exhale, float through heart center, or you can always swan dive. Inhale, find your flat back, hands on the shins or the mat. Exhale, fold, plant your hands as you bend your knees, step back and find a plank position. This is a push-up position. So maybe you arrive in plank and you're like, oh, that's too hard. If that's the case, simply drop your knees, but find your plank first. It's very typical for people to maybe be here, and then when they drop their knees, they're in a tabletop. So it's very different from tabletop. You want to find your full plank. So shoulders over wrists, feet hip distance apart, pressing out through the heels. And again, if you feel your belly sag or your heart sag or your shoulders move together, simply drop your knees. Don't move anything else. This is a modified plank. Take a full breath in here. Shift your weight slightly forward, whether you're in a full plank or a half modified plank. Shift your weight slightly forward, bend the elbows straight back. This is where those elbow creases come in, lower all the way down to the mat. See if you can do it as one unit. Once you arrive, uncurl the toes. Hands down underneath your shoulders or even further back. So as you inhale, you reach up through the toes, lift your heart with the strength of your back. But don't worry about lifting your gaze. You don't want to hyperextend your neck. You just want to lift with the strength of your back. Maybe keep your gaze forward and down. Take another big breath in. Exhale, release. Curl those toes under. With an inhale, either press up to a full plank or a modified plank. Roll over toes, find your down dog on the exhale. You may have to do it in 2 breaths. Once you head, walk your dog out a little more. So each time you arrive to this down dog, maybe you find something new about it. Maybe it becomes more of your resting pose, which eventually it will. Take another full breath in, full breath out. When you're ready to inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees. Step or hop to the top of your mat into your forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, refold. Draw your chin to your chest. Deeper fold here. Inhale as you exhale. Roll it up. Inhale, extend out and up. Take your gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's put it all together. Roll the shoulders on the back. Float them out and up on the inhale. Look to the palms. Exhale through heart center. Forward fold. Let the head drop. Inhale, wave the spine out long, find that axial extension, and exhale, plant the hands, step back to your plank, and lower down. Inhale to your cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Use that breath to press yourself up, find your down dog. From here, let's bring some awareness to our core. So walk your big toes a little closer together. And then take your right knee in towards your chest, and on the inhale, let's float it out and up. So keeping your hips square here, reach through the ball of your right foot. As you do so, you're reaching through the ball of your foot. Maybe let that left heel descend a little closer to the mat. Take another inhale here. On the exhale, let's bring that right knee to our right elbow. And if you need to drop that left knee to the mat, do so. Inhale, 3-legged dog. This is a 3-legged dog here. Exhale, can you draw the knee across to the left elbow? Inhale, out and up. Exhale, straight in towards your chest. And again, if you got to drop that back knee, that's fine. Inhale up. This time as you exhale, step it all the way through. Can you step your right foot to your right thumb? If it only comes part way, help it along. Drop your left knee down, uncurl your left toes, reach the arms out and up. On the exhale, sink the hips. So you can maintain your arms straight up, or you can bring your hands to heart center. If you have any shoulder issues, don't aggravate it by holding your arms up. Just simply bring your hands to heart. Think about your pelvis squaring off. No pinching in the lumbar, just feel some access into your hip flexor here, the very front of this left thigh. Go ahead and place your hands on your right thigh. Make sure that your knee is in alignment with your right ankle. So if it's going way over, you need to extend your stance. Take another inhale. As you exhale, maybe bring those hips a little more forward and down. Inhale, begin to press through your right leg. Picking up your right toes, release your hands. Draw your hips in a line with each other, so right hip comes back in line with left. Release your torso over this right leg to whatever point where you start to find some pretty intense stretching down that right back of the leg, the right hamstring. You can stay here, or with an exhale, you can turn your toes a little more out to the right, but I caution, do it slowly. It starts to really get into the outside of that thigh, that IT band, and that can be rather tight on most of us. Just imagine sending your breath wherever you're feeling that tightness. With your next inhale, draw those toes back up through center. On the exhale, walk your hands forward, plant the foot. Plant both hands. Curl your left toes under, lift your left knee. Press the earth away to pick that right foot up. Find your downward facing dog. Go ahead and walk it out and take a moment. This difference between right and left. Walk those big toes a little closer together. Draw that left knee in towards your chest on the inhale. Send it out and up. Three-legged dog. Hips stay square, shoulders stay square. Reach through the ball of that left foot and allow that right heel to descend a little closer to the earth. Set your edge. Don't go beyond it. Make sure you're breathing full and deep. Take one more inhale. Same as we did on the other side with the exhale. We're now going to bring left knee to left tricep or left elbow. Inhale, send it out and back. Exhale, feel those obliques. We're going to draw that left knee to right elbow. Inhale, back up, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, send it out and up. This time as you exhale, use that knee to chest. Maybe bend the elbows, bend your standing leg, press the earth away. Step to your left thumb. Right knee descends, right toes uncurl. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, sink those hips forward and down. Remain spacious in your low back. As you reach up, and again, shoulders bother you, simply bring your hands to heart. From here, just go ahead, release your hands to that left thigh, always checking your alignment of knee to ankle. Breathe into that right hip flexor, right thigh. Take another inhale. On the exhale, can you release any deeper? Stay long through the low back. Inhale, begin to press the mat away. As left leg extends, left toes pick up. Hands come to the mat. And you also might find it useful if you're very high up to use blocks here. We want to stay fairly long in our back, so try to avoid the rounding. Intense stretch through the back of that left leg. Ardha Hanumanasana. Half splits here. Keep thinking about working that left hip in alignment with your right. Take one more breath. Inhale as you walk forward. Place the hands to the mat, curl your right toes under, lift the right knee, and then press the earth away to pick that left foot up. Find your downward facing dog. Check in, make sure both legs feel even here. Let's come through some standing postures. So again, these toes can come a little closer together. With the inhale, right leg floats out and up. On the exhale, step to the right thumb. Step that left foot to bring that foot to a 45-degree angle. Make sure you have a foundation through both feet. Both feet are firmly connected. And then roll yourself up. Inhale, extend. Exhale, find a deep bend in that front knee. As much as you can. Make sure you can access your hips. We're working to get the hips forward, the shoulders square. But we want to have equal weight on both feet. It's very typical here to put too much weight on that front leg. If you don't feel that back leg engaged or the outer edge of your left foot, shift some weight back. Really straighten as much as you can through that left leg. It frees up the front leg to bend a little bit more without pressure. Take one more inhale. On your exhale, let's open up. Warrior two. So here, you have to make a little bit of foot adjustment. We really want a straight line from the right heel through to the left instep. And again, we want to check our position in space. So check in with those hips. Notice if you're like this. If that right hip is falling down, the left hip is up. Can you draw that left hip under and lift up that right hip? So now you're floating more in space, but here we always want to check too is our right knee. Can you look down and see your right big toe? Beautiful. If you can, find your edge. And some people like to spread their fingers, some people like to really pull their fingers together. Just experiment with what feels good to you, but soften through your shoulders. Gaze over that front middle finger. Take one more breath, and then we're going to move into crescent. So take another big breath in. Exhale. Let's windmill that left arm down and around. As you do, shoulders come forward, hips move forward. Pick up your left heel, spiral on the ball of the left foot, lift the arms out and up, crescent lunge. Real important here, we're seeking a straight back leg, but not at the expense of our back. So if you're feeling it in your back, put some bend in that back knee. Inhale here. Exhale. Extend forward, release down. Press the earth away to pick that right foot up. Step back to your downward facing dog. Check in one more time. Reconnect with your breath. At any time you need child's pose, you don't need an invite. Big toes walk closer together. Inhale, left leg extends out and up. On your exhale, step it up and through. Left foot to left thumb. Let that right foot descend to a 45-degree angle. Make sure you have your foundation. And then roll yourself up to inhale your arms out and up. Exhale, deep bend. So again, check in. Do you have even weight front and back leg? You really want this back leg to feel like a rod pole. It's your foundation, it's your stability, freeing up your front leg to bend. Take another breath here. On the exhale, open up, warrior two. Again, seeking, maybe have to heel toe that left foot over. Find that alignment. Check in with your hips. Did your left hip drop down? If you can even out the hips, extend the arms. Open up that left knee. See that left big toe. Soften through the shoulder. And then gaze over that front middle finger. Keep the breath moving as you soften through the shoulders. With an inhale, windmill that right arm down and around. Shoulders come forward, hips come forward. Rotate on the ball of the right foot. Extend the arms out and up. Crescent lunge. Maybe a little bend in that back knee. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, release forward and down. Press the earth away to pick that left foot up. Step back to your downward facing dog. Good place here to take a break. So shift the weight forward, drop down to your knees. Find your child's pose. So here we want to reconnect with our breath. Make sure we're still breathing full, even, and deep, or at least as deep as we can. Knowing that the faster we move, the more faster our breath will become. Inhale, let's rise up to a tabletop. Curl those toes under. Shift the weight back. Press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees. Step or hop, feet between the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold, chin to chest. Take an inhale. On the exhale, roll it up. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's bring in a balance pose. So for balance pose, we're going to try dancer. And 3 things with balance. 1, we want to make sure we're always breathing full and deep. The more even and smooth and soft the breath is, the better able you are to balance. Second thing, we're going to concentrate on finding a dristi, a place that we can gaze at. So gazing is far different than staring. Gaze is soft, stare is hard. So we want to think softness. It brings softness into the body. So find a place about 10 feet out in front of you, a spot on the carpet or outside, wherever you're at. Find a spot you can stare at. And then soften through your body. If you have to bring a soft smile into your inner body, just a little soft smile to yourself, it'll start to soften everything along with the gaze. We'll start with the right foot. Shift all your weight onto your right foot. Make sure, again, foundation, we have a nice connection. Typically when we use balance or lose balance, it's a rocking to the side of the foot. So if you can concentrate on mashing that big toe down and maybe bending that standing leg so that you lower your center of gravity, it's usually easier to regain your balance. Core is also important. So let's start with your right leg. Find that place of balance. Come up onto your left toes. Take your left arm, just like we did in Tadasana, roll the arm back, flip the palm open, but that your left thumb points straight back. From here, find your dristi. Go ahead and start that little smile to yourself if you need it. Inhale, pick that left foot up, grab the inside of your left foot. Now, if for some reason your wrist or shoulder doesn't enable you to do that, you can hold any way that feels comfortable to you. But once you find that left foot, realign your knees together, draw that lower pelvic floor in and up to really find a nice flat base or frontal pelvis. From there, you can inhale your right arm up, or you can use a wall if you're practicing balance. Just use fingertips on a wall, stand next to the wall. If you're coming in with your arm raised, from here, you're going to kick the foot into the hand. So you want this resistance of kicking, actively kicking. You start to produce a back bend. Keep a micro bend in that standing leg, and then you can start to reach up and out with that right arm. So we're not so much reaching forward as just creating a back bend. As you actively kick, take one more breath. On your inhale, rise back up to center, and exhale, release down. Go ahead and shake it out. Good point to notice difference right and left. And we'll switch sides. So find a base of support with your left foot. So do it with a micro bend in that knee. It's always so much more helpful than just shifting weight with a stiff leg. So find that a little bounce. And then bring your right toes up next to your left leg. Engage your core. Heart stays lifted. Take that shoulder and roll it back. Right thumb points behind you. Inhale, lift the right leg, capture the inside of that right foot. And again, if that doesn't work, do whatever orientation you need to grab the foot. You might even use a strap. If you need to use a strap to grab that foot, just hook the strap down into a hole and then slip your foot through. Once you're there, inhale the arm up, or maybe you're on a wall. Reach tall. Exhale, begin to kick that right foot into the right hand, actively kicking, producing that back bend. Right foot's reaching toward the ceiling, but your heart's always lifted too here. That's what creates the back bend. Focus on your dristi. Breathe. Inhale, bring everything up with control, and exhale, soft release down. Beautiful. Let's come back to your standing mountain pose, and we're going to float down for a few things on our back or from seated. So find your mountain pose once again, rolling the shoulders back. Inhale, arms out and up. On the exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step it back, lower down. Inhale to your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, or use that extra breath. Take a nice big breath in here as you exhale, drop down to your knees. Find one hip and swing your legs around. Coming into Navasana, our boat pose. So find the middle of your mat or anywhere you're comfortable, it doesn't really matter. Feet planted. And make sure you find your sit bones. Front edges, not the back. Move the flesh if you need to. Grab the backs of the thighs, roll the shoulders back. And then from here, start to lean back with an open heart. We're going to lift the right leg up on the inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, left, exhale, lower. Now, if you can do this with your arms extended, use your core as the control. One more each side. If you have to go back to holding the legs, do it, because you will gain strength. Modify till you can do it and keep the integrity of the posture. From here, if you've got that master, if you can begin to lift the calves parallel to the ceiling, we're going to move with our breath here. Low boat to high boat. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, up. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, extend out. Exhale. Come forward, wrap your arms around your legs, drop your head, and just let go of all that tension. From here, scoot to the middle of your mat. We're going to roll down, final spinal twist, and our shavasana. I think we're running out of light here. Roll it on down. Once you're down, go ahead and draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a gentle hug. You might want to try a little rock side to side here. And then let's keep a hold of our right knee. Actually, we'll do a bent knee twist. So let's extend both arms straight out into a T. Inhale at center. As you're ready to exhale, float both knees over to the right. Just release them. So wherever they go, most important thing here is your left shoulder stays on or near the mat. Once you relax the legs and the feet, you can roll your head to the left. Take another breath here. Inhale, belly to spine, use your core, draw everything back through center, head and knees. Exhale, draw both knees over to the left. Make sure that right shoulder is soft. So bring the arms down, maybe below shoulder level, maybe bend the elbows, get as soft as you can, and then roll your head to the right. Slowing down the breath. Inhale back through center. Exhale, squeeze the knees in. Inhale, let's take a full body stretch. So extend your arms overhead, your legs long. Really reach out through fingers, through toes. And with your exhale, draw your arms down by your side, coming into corpse pose. Maybe lift your upper back, walk your shoulder blades a little closer together. Keeping your arms a little wider, maybe 45 degrees out from the body. Walk the feet wide, legs flop open. Maybe roll your head from side to side here. Once you're here, close the eyes, give up control of the breath. Give up control of everything and just allow yourself to descend heavily onto your mat, fully supported. And I invite you to stay here as long as you need to. Thank you for joining me today. Check out my other videos on Yoga with Sue. Pleasure having you. Namaste.